off the video, you asked us what is the best way to explain the categorical imperative, and obviously if I'm understanding it correctly, the categorical imperative is an imperative that is absolute for all agents. It does not depend on an underlying reason or end. In other words, it doesn't have underlying selfish intent behind it. It's a way for individuals to evaluate actions and a way to determine moral judgments. It's universal because it's universal in the way that everyone would be abiding by it. It's a kind of like an overall standard in a sense. Actions are the exact same for everyone, and actions are not affected by one's own aims. So like I said before, selfish intent behind it doesn't really apply to the categorical imperative. We first started learning about the categorical imperative with Kant, learning about the hypothetical and categorical, and then going more into depth with the categorical with the four examples when Kant compared it to duty. And now going on to the second part, explaining similarities and differences between Kant's deontology and utilitarianism. So it's kind of hard to find similarities with these. There's one main one though that kind of stuck out to me, and that was that they both just have basic reasoning behind them, behind actions. There's basic reasoning behind actions. So with utilitarianism, it's doing things in the likeness of the overall community, so what's best for the most amount of people. And with Kant's ethics, it's kind of like what's like the reasoning behind your actions, the morality behind your actions. So I had trouble connecting them in more ways. It's just I feel like they're very different so like going into the differences, they're different in the way that Kant does not believe that moral goodness comes from the consequences of something, whereas that's kind of what utilitarianism focuses on. Kant believes in your intent behind the actions, not necessarily the outcome. So if we were to look at lying, for example, if that was what was best for the overall community in utilitarianism, then it would be fine. But Kant doesn't think that that would be fine because it's not having the right reasoning behind your actions. So that's just a few things I picked up, differences and similarities. And the categorical imperative is a very in-depth topic, and it's kind of hard to just narrow it down to one thing because there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, the categorical imperative is just doing what is best, like what would be the best thing for a universal law, so what would apply to everyone. And yeah.